Good morning, class. Today we will officially start the discussion in our subject, legal forms. We will discuss report writing. We will discuss points to consider in writing reports, types of uh, strategies in writing good report, types of report writers, importance and purposes of police report writing, the qualities of a good report, the fundamental styles of police report writing, and basic requirements of police report writing. We will discuss the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, why, and 1H, how. Um, in as basic requirements of police report writing. So, class, naghatag naman ko sa inyo og ano no, soft copy, a digital copy yesterday. So, katong digital copy that I gave you yesterday, this is gonna kadto nga to ang mahimong discussion karon na adlaw. So, I want you to have a copy while listening to this discussion audio lecture. I want you to have a copy with you of that uh, PDF, that digital material that I gave you yesterday, so you can follow my discussion, okay? Para dili mo masaag, okay? So now let's discuss nature of report writing. A report is an objective statement of the findings of the investigator. This is an official record of the information that is relevant to an investigation. It says a report is an objective statement. Nga naman siya nga objective statement man siya, not subjective statement. Um, Basically, man good, when you make a report, you only write there, you only state in your report uh, events and facts that actually took place, that actually happened uh, in the subject of your report. Let's say, for example, in the subject of your investigative report, let's say, for example, a practical example. You are an investigator. You witnessed the commission of a crime. Let's say, for example, VAUSI, violence against women and children. Okay? Nagsakay ka, let's say, for example, o in a patrol car, nakita nimo sa dalan, nag-away ang mag-asawa. Diba? Gidapatan sa lalaki ang iyahang asawa. Okay? And there are witnesses around. Okay? Surrounding the event. So, when you make an investigative report, you are only supposed to place in your report things that you actually saw during the commission of the crime. Nga, let's say for example, gisagpa ba sa lalaki ang babae, giguyod ba sa lalaki ang babae, nag-yaw-yaw ba sila, nag-away ba sila, nagsinakitay ba sila. That is the only thing that you are supposed to enter in your report. Okay? Kung na-interview nimo ang mga witness, well, you write it in the report unsa ang ilang statement, but you are not supposed to place I mean to write in your report subjective statement, your own subjective statement. Dili ka dapat mingon dito nga siya G salaan kanang murag ang imuha ng pananaw ba. You should not include that in your report. You only include objective statements kung unsa jud nahitabo, not your own subjective opinion, okay? And it is an official record. So whatever you put in your report, however erroneous it may be or faulty it may be, I hope not, di ba? It will form part of the official record of your organization or agency. Okay, so it is really a must that an investigative officer must possess a minimum requirements of at least a good basic writing skills. Okay, so therefore a good report plays an important role in the success of any investigation. But the fact remains that there are many reports that are haphazardly written, and it results in jeopardizing the whole investigation process. There is a great demand for every report writer to fully develop his writing skills so that the best written outputs will be achieved. Diba? As I said to you earlier in our orientation, let's say for example let's say in the example that I just gave you, you witness a Bausi, Bausi, di ba? You interviewed the witness, you accosted the accused, or you arrested the accused, you interviewed the victim, you were interviewed by the media. You have all the facts, you have all the information needed, but the problem is that uh you don't know how to deduce them. You don't know how to encapsulate the event, 'di ba? Ibutang nimon siya into in writing, into an effective writing nga pagbasa sa, let's say for example, the fiscal or the judge when he reads your report, or your superior, makaingon siya nga, nani gyud ang nahitabo, makasabot sila, diba? Di sila maglisod og sabot sa imong in-Englishan, okay? Or sa imong pag-convey sa imong ideas in your writing. Okay? So that is actually the dilemma, okay? Because you have all the facts, you have all the information, but you don't know how to put that in writing to a good single piece of report writing. Okay? Reports, class, are helpful and may influence the career of the investigator or any law enforcer. Um, Recognition and promotion are mostly based on the quality of reports. So, kasagaran ka na mga ma-promote sa area ninyo, let's say for example, in you will enter government service and you will enter PNP. Ang kasagaran ng mga promote ano kay kanang mga howd mo himog reports kanang mga bright, di ba? So the personality of an effective report writer is also reflected in the kind of reports he writes. Well written reports show a favorable impression not only on the competence of the writer but also on his credibility. In contrast, erroneous reports can damage the writer's career, as it may also destroy the image of the agency or the organization he is connected. Let's say for example, makita nimo ba ang report kung lamo-lamo lang og himo, makaingon jud ka, kini nga tao hani, kini nga pulis ni wala ni. Wa ni nagtarong, kanang wala dili siya seryoso sa iyahang trabaho, because a good report, a good written report writing, di lang na siya mahitabo. The skill of having a good report writing, di lang na siya mahitabo overnight. Diba? Dapat mag-practice na. Dapat it would entail a lot of reading, it would entail a lot of research, di ba? Dapat magbasa ka og sample sa mga police writing, mga investigative report kung giunsa na paghimo, para you can apply that when you make your own report, okay? It doesn't happen overnight nga pag gusto nimo nga makahawd ka maghimog report nga magkuan lang ka dito na automatic mahawd na ka. It requires practice and patience, okay? So what are the points that you have to consider in writing reports? Well-written reports do not happen in a snap of a finger, but rather they are products of series of writing activities that are perfected over constant practice. Okay? As I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It is a product of series of writing activities that are perfected over constant practice. So you need to practice, class, okay? Good report writers are those who are painstakingly taking the effort of writing and revising their work to achieve the best output. They follow certain points of consideration and rules in writing reports, like number one, using the best language, avoiding errors of form, and avoiding errors of substance. So again, because you in the future you will become professionals, expected jud nga maghimo mo report using the English language, di ba? So the only way that you can actually be able to write a good report using the English language is magbasa lang yun. Diba? Magbasa mo og, let's say, for example, English articles. Or, diba? Or, kung kinsa may hilig dirag basa og mga mga pocketbook, mga novel, di ba? Ang basahan na lang po yung English na lang po para maanad mo. Di ba? You watch series, TV series on YouTube, di ba? Mga English ay lang po ng mga Tagalog po para ma-practice mo, okay? The best language in report writing is one that could be easily understood by the target reader because not all reader has the time to read twice and decipher ambiguous reports. A report that contains the best language includes the following characteristics. It must be concise, clear, organized, thorough, adequate, and accurate. Faulty report is awkward and ambiguous, and those with grammatical errors are an additional headache to the reader because it may present meaning aside from what it intends to convey. Report writers are greatly expected to be well versed in grammar and all its governing rules to avoid errors in spelling, typographical forms, file number, and report format. Substance of the report is the most important aspect in writing. This has something to do with the exact contents of the report with the completeness of the 5 W's and 1 H. The accurate content of the report is seriously considered because it can seriously affect the lives of people, like a criminal being set free or an innocent person being convicted. In addition, the credibility of the writer will also be tarnished along with the reputation of the agency he is representing. To avoid this error, the writer must not delay in investigating and reporting. He must include essential facts, must cover obvious leads, and must conduct adequate interviews. So, 'di ba? It is very important that you have to possess at least good writing report skills because kanang example lang class ha, when the case is on the court already, on trial, the judge will dispose of the case. Iyahan ng decidan ang case based majorly based on the pleadings, based on the writings, on the reports. Let's say for example, 'di ba? It is equivalent to reports of each side of the parties. Ang accused, ang prosecutor maghimo na katong pleading niya based on the report of the police. Now, if the police report was haphazardly made, dali-dali lang saon pagka prove sa element sa crime ana, di ba? So, awkward pud kay basahon, magsigirag pang hinaway ang reader kung pagtayo unsa man ning report ani wa man ni ayo wrong grammar man ni ana no. So again, it is really a basic requirement if you become investigator someday that you know how you are well versed with the grammar. Okay, um, it is very important. Okay, and it will also affect the reputation of the agency that you are representing. Let's say for example, you work as in the PNP, nya makita na sa mga fiscal, sa mga judge, or sa mga superior nimo, or sa, let's say for example, elective officials, the mayor, the governor, kaingon sa unsa man yung PNP sa tagom oy. Tawa ra gud ana, di ba? So, or let's say sa pantukan oy. O man klaro, di ba? So what are the strategies in writing good report? Just like any other activity, writing is a process that requires strategies. Good written outputs are the products of carefully crafted writing activity. A writer can expect a favorable outcome in his report if the written activity has been developed from a specific goal and follows from a time-tested strategy. The following are suggested strategies that a writer must adhere. Number one, check and recheck first whether notes on gathered facts are already complete and organized. Number two, if notes on gathered facts are insufficient, go back into the process of gathering more facts related to the situation. Number three, make an outline of the report basing from the completely gathered facts. Number four, use the chronological order of writing in presenting facts and ideas in the written report. Number five, outline The outline of the report should basically answer the complete 5 W's and 1 H. Number 6, prepare a report that could either be simple, brief, complex, or in a memorandum form, depending on its required format. Okay, when you make a report, you have to make sure that you have all the essential facts. Yeah, you have you are familiar, or at least you have a record of the essential facts. So basically, it's like building a structure. So dapat nakata ng materials kompleto, i-review nimo na kung naa na ba kata ng facts, kung kulang kag facts, balik kag interview. Di ba? Balik ko ni mag-interview ang witness, balik ko ni mag-interview ang victim. Or let's say, for example, the accused, balikan ni mo siya interview to gather more facts related to the situation. And then you make an outline. Saan man ako ni paghimo nga report? Unsa may una na ako ani? Diba? Pasunod. And then, a good report basically answers the 5 W's and 1 H. Katong who, what else? Who, what, why, what, why, when, and the 1H. Diba? How. Kung ma-answer na sa imong report, I think your report will mas murag okay na ang report nimo kung ma-answer na nimo ng 5 W's and 1 H. Then, prepare a report that could either be simple, brief, complex, or in a memorandum form. Kung mahimo pa mo report, it doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be a 5-story report. If 1-page story, if let's say for example 2 paragraphs will suffice nga ma-cover na tanang facts, nga ma-answer na ang 5 W's and 1 H, then that is sufficient already. It is enough already, okay? No need to be verbose. No need to adapt lengthy words and scholarly words. Simple words. You use that in your report is enough. Simple words. Basic English words are sufficient, are enough, di ba? Di na kailangan niya ka ng mga lisod yun nga mga English ang inyong gamiton, di ba? Kinsa may mabasa po ana, maglisod po. Di ba? So now let's go to types of report writers. So there are actually 3 types. According to a good source, there are actually 3 types of report writings. Writers. Those who write without thinking. Ikaduha, those who write and think at the same time. Ikatulo, those who think first and write afterwards. Okay? So katong the writers who write without thinking are those who do not bother to gather facts and information to support the written report. They are those who are not keen in observing and gathering facts to supplement the written report. These are also writers who are not conscious of their grammar errors and do not intend to correct what is grammatically wrong. They are lazy and careless in gathering specific information. As a whole, they are not concerned whether their readers will understand the written report or not. So, ang first kind, magsulat lang, way huna-huna. Diba? Taka laglo, basta nalay, mag-comply lang na, ang sila report mahatag, okay na para sa ilaha. Diba? And that is not a good type of report writers. Sagala, tapulan. Basically, muna siyang type of report writer. Ang second report writer is the one who write and think at the same time. These are the writers who gather information and facts and put them into writing. In addition, they review and verify their works, but they are in a hurry to write. Therefore, the gathered informations are not properly documented. These kinds of writers are also partially conscious of the grammatical errors of the written output and submit the reports with average accuracy. So this kind of writer, the one who write and think at the same time, so dali lang ba? Although he's good in writing, but because of the writing was haphazardly made, dinilian lang, not a product of a well-versed plan, diba? So ang ihapong report medyo lang po, medyo average lang po ang product, siyang output, siyang report, okay? pero di siya pareha sa first kind of reporter nga taka-taka lang, nga bisag wrong grammar hala. Wa siya pakialam. This one, he is actually mindful of his report. Okay, and the last one, the best type of report writer is the one who thinks first and write afterwards. So these writers are those who gather specific data, facts, and evidences carefully before they write, and they are very keen in observing and gathering information to back up their report. They are also very conscious of their grammar and goes on correcting themselves to improve their written output. Because they are diligent in collecting facts, the reports are accurate, complete, fair, concise, and specific. So, di ba class, kung maghimo kag report kaning this type of report is the reporter is the best type, okay? Kay ngano inig magbasa siya, iyang evaluate ug usab ang iyang report. Especially nowadays, you can actually go to the internet and Google samples of report and have that as a guide in making your report, di ba? Kung diligent jud ka yun, imo nang i-search how to make report writing, how to make an police report, di ba? Nya imuha nang basahon og balik-balik ang imuhang report, kung tama ba siya grammatically, kung ang 5 W's and 1 H na cover ba, nabutang ba dira. That is before you write the report. That is the best type of report writers. Okay? What is the importance and purpose of police report writing? So one of the basic works of an investigator is writing reports. You need to remind future policewomen and future policemen need to remind yourself that in every activity that you engage yourself with, there is always a corresponding report writing that comes along with it. Diba? Again, if especially you're in the government or you have a boss, mag-required yun na siya report. Written report of the events or of the transaction that took place. So, it is very important. Police report writing is very important. It is not only important for yourself, but also for the whole agency and organization that you represent. Reports may serve as records for planning, directing, and organizing units' duties for police administrator. In the prosecution of criminals, reports are used as legal documents, as reference used by other agencies, and as basis for researches. Report may also help local media when they need to access public documents. And lastly, reports could serve as a reflection of the investigator's credibility. An investigator can never be considered an effective writer if he does not have specific purpose in mind. It is essential that any report should serve its purpose to the readers. Further, added that the police organization develops their reporting systems to serve the following purposes. It is important really to basically know the basics of police report writing, because let's say for example you can account upward and outward activities. Let's say for example in the PNP, you can actually record mga transactions, upward transactions and outward transactions in the agency. You can also in order to justify your program. Okay? It is also used to report upward and outward information concerning progress, future needs, plans, and decisions made. Diba? When you make a report to your supervisors, when you make report to the upward, that is upward, diba? When you make report to the local chief executives, the mayor, or the sanggunian, or the fiscal, that is outward information. Okay? And lastly, to inform downward organizations concerning policies, programs, resources, procedures, and all other matters concerning work in the police organization. So kung lang say for example na amoy mga executive orders, report ano mo po na siya, report mo po na siya nga style, di ba? Written report mo po na siya. Let's say for example na amoy organizational executive order nga ipatupad sa inyong organization or agency, kabutang na siya o ka ng isa ka written material document nga gusto nimo nga i-follow sa imong mga subordinates. So that is very important. What are the qualities of a good report? A well-written report is also a result of carefully planned and designed writing. Good report writers undergo the process of writing, editing, and revising their work. For a report to be considered as good, it needs to possess certain qualities like clarity, accuracy, completeness, brevity, fairness, and specificity. So let's discuss them one by one. Clarity. Klaro kayo sa ba? No? There is clearness of thought, style, or expression of the writer. Example. This example is an unclear statement. Let's say the pump boat capsized because it was overloaded. To make it more clear, you could say that the pump boat capsized because it was overloaded. Rescuers confirmed that the pump boat can only hold 5 people. Witnesses said that there were 10 people when it capsized. So katong first statement, the pump boat capsized because it was overloaded. Murag general statement lang sa ba? Murag conclusion of law lang siya. Conclusion or subjective opinion of the reporter, of the one writing the report. So you have to support that conclusion. Karong nakaingon man kang overloaded ang pump boat, munang ning capsize siya, munang nalunod siya. Because makaingon ka nga naay rescuer nga nag-ingon nga the pump boat can only hold 5 people, but in the witnesses, ang mga witnesses mo ingon nga there are actually 10 people who is in the pump boat. That is why it capsized. Diba? Because the pump boat was overloaded. So, klaro dapat ang imong report. Okay? You don't only make general conclusions. You specify what is the event, what is the facts, what are the facts that actually would support your general conclusion. Okay? Accuracy. What do you mean by that? Is conformity to facts and representations of truth with precision and in exactness. In writing a report, all facts and information, whether favorable or unfavorable to the concerned subject, should be included. And these facts are verified by statement of witnesses and by reference to official records or reliable sources. An accurate report is a true reflection and representation of the facts, the best of the writer's knowledge. It is also a specific report. Diba? When you make a report, it should not be biased. Diba? It should not favor one party over the other. So kung unsay nahitabo lang jud dito sa event nga the subject of your report, you place it in your report. Diba? Dili mo magbias kay let's say for example, you know one of the parties nga bias nimo nga kuan, diba? As I said earlier, it is an objective statement. It is not a subjective statement. Objective statement because you state only the facts that took place in the event subject of the report, okay? Example, inaccurate ni siya nga example. The child was hit by a speeding motorcycle. Mo lang. Maayo ba na siyang report? No. No. Instead, you write, the child was hit by a blue Honda Wave motorcycle with plate number, which is approximately etc., which is approximately traveling an estimated speed of 50 km per hour. Pwede po ni mo ibutang ang time. Okay? Kung nakabalo ka, kung dapit nahitabo. Okay? To make it more accurate. Okay? Completeness. It should be complete. It must have all the necessary and normal part, components, and style of writing in its entirety. So it should answer the 5 W's and 1 H questions. So for example, the missing boy was found. That is an incomplete statement, di ba? Unsa man? Wala. Simple as that. That is very incomplete. So when you say that the 5-year-old boy from Lapu-Lapu City who was missing for 7 days was found wandering in let's say for example okay, the 5-year-old boy from Pantukan who was missing for 7 days was found wandering in Tagum City by a couple by a couple from Pantukan City, di ba? So kompleto siya ba? Kompleto. Dili lang kami ngon nga the missing boy was found, di ba? You should lay down the facts that that would include all the essential facts to the event. So ipambutang nimo, di ba? Brevity. Again, although the law requires that, although you're required to make an accurate, a clear, and complete written report, it is also said that you have to make it as brief, as simple, as concise as possible, di ba? So magkuha na po ka, di po na kay patas anay manggod. So dapat ka nang move, kung baga, kung our judge pa in our teacher in law school would say to us, your report must be like a bikini. It must be long enough to cover the essential parts, but it must also be short enough to to induce or to entice the let's say for example the viewers, the public, okay? Mura daw sa bikini ba nga taas siya para lang ma-cover ang mga essential parts, di ba? Pero mubuo siya to entice your let's say for example your audience or ang kanang imong mga viewers, di ba? Nga ma-excite ang imong viewers kung magtan-aw sa imo nga nakabikini ka, di ba? Taas siya kay ma-cover ang imong mga private organs, private parts, pero mubuo siya to entice the interest of your viewer. Okay? That should be the quality of your report. Fairness. Again, in writing is having or exhibiting a disposition that is free of favoritism, bias, partiality, self-interest, or preference in judgment. So you should be basically fair. You state only the facts that took place. You do not favor one party over the other. Okay? Specificity. It is a quality of writing pertaining to being explicitly definite and specific rather than general. A good writer must be precise and specific in writing his or her report and should avoid ideas that could mislead the readers. Like say for example, she died of stab wounds. That is an unspecific report. To be specific, you could say that she died of 5 stab wounds in her chest and another 5 stab wounds in her upper right rib cage. Okay, so the reader would have an idea of what is really happening o unsa jud ang stab wounds. You just don't say she died of stab wounds without specifying where the stab wounds were located, and if possible kung na investigation, you can actually describe the type of wounds, whether it is kung lingin ba siya og porma or talinis ba ang gigamit ba ana, the depth of the wounds. You can also do that. You can also state that in your report. So fundamental styles of police of police report writing. Okay. So writing a police report is a tough job. It demands constant practice and application of some fundamental principles of writing like perspective, selection, and organization. Again, a good police reporter, an investigative reporter, does not happen. For you to become a good writer, it doesn't happen overnight. It entails constant practice, constant reading, constant listening, di ba? So perspective refers to the point of view from which the investigator presents the finding of his report based from gathered evidences. For maintaining the objectivity of the report, the third person point of view should be used. The writer should refer himself or herself as the investigator or the police officer. So mo ni ba, inig masulat gani ka to make it more formal. Ayaw nang kanang first view gani. Let's say for example you are the investigator, dili ka mingon nga I witnessed the crime, I interviewed. Dapat mingon ka nga the police reporter, the investigator, the police officer or the investigator interviewed the accused. He witnessed the commission of the crime. Dapat ana nimo, di ba? Dili ka mo kuan og first person. Nga I made I know, you don't do that. You make it sound like a professional writing. Diba? You should make it appear like a professional writing by using a third person's point of view. Okay? Use the word Instead of use I, use the word investigator, the investigator, or the police officer. Selection, on the other hand, of information relates to the gathered data in connection with how the writer presents these in his report. Selectivity is vital since this will affect the investigator's decision on the facts and information that he will include. He should discard irrelevant details to arrive at a coherent report and should only report information that are composed of physical evidence, statement, and complete investigation. Organization is the process of how a report is put together after the specific details of facts have been gathered. Organization of the report should follow after the investigator had conducted and gathered the evidence necessary in the investigation. Okay, what are the basic requirements of police report writing? Now we will discuss the 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. These are the most important questions that an investigator must take into consideration. These questions basically cover the essentials of the whole process of police report writing. Below are examples. Okay, I will give you examples of the following questions. Who? Unsa may pasabot sa who? Kinsa. This answers all about the person involved in the investigation. Ang ilahang complete and correct name, ang ilahang exact address, ang ilahang contact numbers. So example, who is the culprit? Who are the victims? Who is the aggrieved party? Who is the leader of the suspected group? Who are the suspects? Who are the witnesses? Who are the complainants? Who discovered the crime? Who are the accomplices of the crime? Who worked on the case? Who was the speaker of the seminar? Who cordoned the area? Who was the prosecutor? Who is the legal counsel? Diba? Hinahanap ng mga question. Next, what? These questions answers about what offenses are committed. Unsa? What? Unsa nga krimen ang nahitabo? Unsa nga evidence ang imuhang na-gather? Unsa nga property ang gikawat? What are the possibilities? Unsa nga mga posibleng motives of the crime? Unsa nga law ang gi-violate? What law was violated? What did the suspect do to the victim? Unsay reaction sa victim's family? Unsay motibo sa criminal? Unsay gihimo sa police sa mga biktima? Unsay response sa victims? What type of property was attacked? What was stolen, lost, or found? What was committed? What made the suspect confess? What was the topic of the seminar? Di ba? What type of vehicle was used by the culprits? Okay, where? So kasabot naman yung asa na hitabo. Okay? Location of the crime scene, of the property, location of the evidence that are related to the incident. Aha na hitabo ang crime. Aha ni mo nakitaan ang victim. Ahaan ni mo nakitaan ang suspect during the commission of the crime. Aha na ang suspect karon. Aha ni mo nakita ang evidence of the crime. Aha ni mo nakita ang witnesses. Aha ni mo nakita ang location of the body of the victim. Aha ni mo nakita ang explosives. Where is the police station? Aha na conduct ang seminar. Diba? Next, when? Kanusa. So basically, you know that. I gave you a copy, a digital copy of my report. So you read them, okay? Kanusa na hitabo ang krimen? Usang orasa. Diba? Kanusa na recover ang lawa sa victim? When was the suspect arrested? When did the police arrive? When did the suspect surrender to the authorities? When did the seminar happen? Diba? What time of the day will be the hearing? Kanusaan mo i-file ang complaint? That is when. Why? Okay. This question answers about the objects or desire which motivated the offense or the crime. For crime against persons, the possible object of the attack might be revenge. ransom, sexual pleasure, or hatred. For crimes against property, possible object of the attack might be to obtain money to sustain vices or simply to acquire property. Kay mo ni pinakalisod why kay mag-ano na ka. You have to know ngano nga gihimo na niya. Okay? So if basically it is a crime, if it is a crime against persons, but an example of crimes against person, I believe you're good in criminal law too because you have Judge Buko with you. He was a spectacular and an amazing teacher. Teacher po nako siya sa law school class in civil law, family and persons and family relation. And I can tell you he is very good teacher. Okay, so why? So you will actually, if it is a crime, you will actually place the elements of the crime. Diba? So you can show the motive. Or let's say, for example, uh, why? This is a very difficult question to answer, especially if you are to be supposed to be very objective, not subjective. Diba? Pero examples of these questions are the following. Why did the suspect commit the crime? Diba? So that is not for the investigator to say this, diba? It is for the judge already to know why, what is the motive of the crime. Why did kini, for example, this is allowed. Why did the witnesses report the crime? Okay, kana. Why did the witnesses saw the crime? What happened? Nganong naa sila diha? Okay? Okay, because let's say for example, they are bystander, okay? Why are there no witnesses to the crime? So that is allowed. Okay. Why did the suspect hide from the authorities? So that is a gray area. You cannot use that because again it would entail subjective information already. Okay. Why are you going to pursue the case? Oh, that is allowed. Why was there a seminar? Oh, that is allowed. Why are you going to file a complaint? Okay, that is allowed. So the last is the H, how. These questions, the answer in a general manner in which the crime was committed. Okay, how was the offense or crime committed? So you lay down the elements of the crime. Okay, diba basic man sa criminal law that each in the commission of the crime, the prosecution should prove each of the elements of the crime. Otherwise, the accused must be acquitted based on reasonable doubt. Okay, how did the policeman respond? How did the suspect react to the authorities? How did the investigator handle the cases? How did they discover the evidences? How was it reported? How are you going to answer the accusations? How did the speaker of the seminar lay down his report? How did how did the law enforcers arrest the criminal? How much was the damage of the property? How much money was stolen? Okay, so that is basically all. Remember lang jud the 5 W's and 1 H in making a report. So ansiran dapat na nimo in making your report. Di ba? In let's say for example, katong example na to ganiha nga a practical example. Katong naka-witness ka og crime, katong violence against women sa dalan, nagpatrol ka. Tapos na ka-witness ka og mag-asawa nga nag-away, gisagpa sa bana ang iyang asawa, giguyod sa bana ang iyang asawa, niya na yung mga witnesses surrounding the circumstances or the event. So, unsa man to nimo? Practical example, 5 W's. Where? Ay, unsa na? Let's say for example, who? So, i-answeran dapat na sa mga report. Who? Kinsay biktima? Kinsay akusado? Kinsa ang mga witnesses? 'Di ba? Muna siya. What? What? Unsa ang krimen nga nahitabo? Unsa ang krimen nga gi-violate sa akusado? Sa lalaki, di ba, against so mingon ka nga it is violence against women and children under Republic Act 9262, I guess, if my memory serves me right. Okay, so unsay gihimo sa akusado sa biktima, unsay reaction sa mga witness, unsay reaction sa biktima, di ba, unsay nahitabo basically in the crime scene. Okay, where asay nahitabo, unsa ang address, complete address. 'Di ba? Ahan nimo sila nakita. Okay? When kanus saan nahitabo, unsay petsa, unsay oras. 'di ba? Why kana kana lisod na ansiran katong example, pero let's say for example nag-report na ang victim in the police station mo, why are you reporting, why are you filing this complaint, 'di ba? So that will answer how the offense was committed. Yung unsa kato gisagpa ba siya, gikuyod ba siya, sinagitay ba sila, throwing contemptuous words to the victim that are actually a violation of his of the law of the Violence Against Women and Children Act. So that is basically it. So thank you guys for listening. Next week, tomorrow we will have no class because tomorrow is a holiday. So we will meet again next week. Okay, thank you class. Thank you so much for listening. And please, please listen to this audio lecture because, again, I cannot meet you face to face physically, and I cannot also meet you via Zoom or via internet or online because of your number, and because I am also working in a law firm and I tend to get busy every day. There are a lot of walk-in clients. I also have to go to courts for a hearing. Diba? So, busy kayong kuan class akong type of work that I am in. Again, listen to the audio lecture and God bless and have a good day to all of you. Thank you, class. Thank you. Thank you.